and Tesla before. They're this new phenomenon, fancy EV overpriced brand, and they're what all the influencers drive, right? As soon as they make it, they instantly buy a Tesla. Now, as you know, these pretty much wrap up everything that I don't like in the auto industry. This mentality of the car doesn't have to be good, we just have to make money, and, we'll tell you warranties, we'll tell you whatever you want to hear to buy the damn car, and then as soon as you buy it, you no longer matter to us. Meanwhile, same with other car companies. This isn't just true for Tesla, this is true for just basic, everyday car companies. They're getting more flashy, uglier, like the CHR, and their quality is just declining. Compared to cars that were made 14 years ago, like this 2010 Toyota Corolla, I'm sure with 144,000 miles, will last millions of miles more than this CHR, or especially this Tesla, ever could with its original things, right? And also, Teslas, they seem to be big, this new interesting thing, but there have been EVs out for a very, very long time, and in my opinion, I think the cheaper ones are just better. You get less, but you pay so much less. You get a little bit less, but the ratio of what you get to what you pay is so much better on these Nissan Leafs and other EVs like that. Hell, even a Coda compared to a Tesla. We were also seeing them having build quality issues, so Tesla's just not really where it's at. Another thing that I don't like about Tesla, speaking about, nice, good old cars, is these mini truck things that we're seeing, these childish, and I'm not a guy with a Ford F-150 that thinks that everyone below me sucks or whatever. I'm not one of those guys. I'm just saying, they're just not good trucks, right? They're just SUVs with a truck. They're more of a ute than an actual truck, right? And utes are great, but they're not that great. This isn't even a ute, right? A ute is usable. These are just pretend show trucks, right? Like I said, 4 doors, short bed, the usual ones, the show trucks. You're driving this around as a car for the gimmick of it being a truck, like the Subaru Baja. No one bought a Subaru Baja to haul lumber, right? They bought a Subaru Baja because they thought it looked neat. That's why people are buying these cars, right? And I just don't like them. They're not reliable. They all have these stupid CVT transmissions. Every single brand except Honda and Toyota have messed it up in their own way. Nissan with it shifting for you and they actually have mechanics in there to make it jitter like a manual. It's so disorienting and annoying. My Prius, you put your foot on the thing and it goes and you hear that, and that's fine. It's a CVT. That's what I expected to do. When I drove a Nissan, CVT, I was like, oh my god. It's just that no wonder why they break so quickly when you're strapping so much crap to them, right? That they all have these. Nissan and Hyundai, they found their own way to mess it up. Just not great. And the Tesla Cybertruck is essentially, I don't get why. Why? It's just one of these, but with stainless steel. So let's talk about the stainless steel. You may have noticed another famous or infamous car, the DMC DeLorean, also had stainless steel body panels because it's cool. What are the upsides of stainless steel? It's stainless steel. Appliances are made out of it. It's supposed to be tough, right? It sounds tough. It has multiple syllables. Wow, so crazy. 3 syllables. How nuts. The bad sides, it rusts. It really does rust. And also, weight. EVs, like I said, I think the reason why, smaller, lighter EVs with smaller battery packs get very similar range to heavier EVs is just because of the weight, right? These small, little, lighter ones with, the plastic bumpers and plastic body panels. Nissan Leaf has metal body panels except for the front and rear bumpers. As usual, easily replaceable. They're just so much lighter and so much easier and nicer. Something like this that's very heavy, very nice, luxurious interior, just not great. And this is just so insane. The EV system in this is what would power, a gigantic, huge bus, just to haul this gigantic thing around. And also, the interior is Tesla. I've never liked the Tesla interior, and this is even worse. At least in the other cars, you have some smooth lines. This one, it's all rigid and jagged, and it's all weird, right? I don't like weird things. It's all weird. The yoke, that's a stupid idea. It's a stupid idea. It's not good for driving. It's not, my Prius has an oval steering wheel. It's weird. It took some getting used to, but it's not bad. When you're turning, you grab it. This is just dumb. It's impossible to grab when you're turning. I've heard from people, you try to reach at the top, there's nothing there. Just an awful, terrible idea. They're also getting rid of the stocks, which the stocks make sense, right? You're turning it right, knock it up. You're turning it right, knock it down. You're turning it left, knock it up, right? And that's just easier, right? That's how the thing works. Buttons, they're just not good, and they're the touch capacitive ones, which means they never work, and you don't know if you've pressed it or not. And this gigantic, stupid screen. Every single time I see one of these screens, I want to kick it so hard that it immediately breaks off the dashboard, and then I think that the car would be halfway decent, right? They've had to overpower the electrical systems in these cars so much just to even get them to move a singular foot. It is ridiculous. And then, of course, they have the classic bed/camper thing. All weird cars have that. We've seen this before with the Aztec, and we're seeing it again with whatever this is supposed to be. Just not great, not amazing, and not, what I think the car industry needs right now, right? Another thing is K-Trucks. This is what makes me probably the most mad. K-Trucks are like the anti-Tesla Cybertruck. They're light, they're useful, they're great on fuel, they're very good, nice, and efficient, and they can carry a lot of stuff for their relative size, right? And yet we're not allowed to have them here in the US because they're not safe enough. Now, I get it. Your legs are the Crumple Zone. Should they probably be legal here? Not really. And yet this thing is legal, right? You have to put things into perspective, which is what a lot of people can't do, right? Especially the NHTSA NHTSA. I was going to say IHS, but they're a little bit more based, right? They set one guideline, and they think that that's the standard, right? That's it. If your car doesn't have a Crumple Zone, that's it. But actually, K-Trucks are a lot lighter in accidents, right? They're a lot lighter, which isn't really a great thing. It's actually quite a bad thing. But, they're just lighter for other vehicles. Not going to crash as hard, not as much force behind it. The Tesla Cybertruck is huge. It is absolutely huge. And yet, we're allowed to have the Cybertruck because it has a Crumple Zone, right? They just cannot be selective. I'm sorry that I view the world this way. Life is not fair. Life should never be fair, right? And I'm not saying this for my own personal bias. I'm just saying, don't sell this here, sell this here. Go from basis to basis. Don't just set general rules for fairness, right? Like, we get it. Fairness is nice, but does it end up working all that well in the end? Practically not really, right? Especially when it comes to car regulations and stuff like that, it just ends up making some weird and wonky decisions, and it doesn't, a lot of times the rules don't cover areas like dumpster fire, literal dumpster fire. If you don't know, saltwater Tesla, just ridiculous and annoying. Another thing is Whistling Diesel, of course, our iconic YouTube, torture test king person. He was testing a Tesla Cybertruck against a Ford F-150, both vehicles he likes equally. And he did this little test where he was driving it off like metal tubes, and then the back slammed down, and then it went down, and it cracked the frame in half. It snapped the bumper like some popsicle sticks directly off the back. Now, I would love to say that this is his fault, right? He shouldn't have been doing that. I seriously think this is a mistake on Tesla's fault. Not because I think that this should be general everyday use, but the F-150 didn't do it. And it's obviously not the same. The F-150 is obviously more durable, at least from what I can tell. This is obviously an issue. And if you look at the connection points, like, everyone gave Toyota crap back in the day, right? Because they had rusting frames on their Tacomas and Tundras. The cars still suck, but at least they don't rust as much now because they had a box frame design. This, how did they think that that was a good idea? So they have this nice, like, thick, blocky design, which is what you want for a frame. You want to keep that flex. You want it to flex a little bit, but not too much where it becomes a problem, right? Where the bed and everything starts separating. Like, you want it to be good at off-roading and that it can conform to the ground it's on, but not snap immediately, right? And this is just a stupid idea. I think this just shows all of Tesla's engineering, right? It sounds neat, but it's all just stupid garbage. Like, they've got a thick, sturdy design, and then they make, like, this little Honda logo as what actually makes contact with the rear bumper, which is what does a lot of the heavy lifting, towing and stuff. That's a lot of it, right? So it doesn't really make sense to me why they would make such a thick, sturdy frame. Even with having supports to hold things up, and then just putting this tiny little, centimeter thin, thing doesn't make sense to me. But other than that, they seem to be pretty durable. It actually did get in a crash, do I have the crash? I do not have the crash, which was kind of interesting, just how it performed, just so annoying. Like, I believe it crashed with a Toyota Corolla. Nope. Oh, there's been another one. There's been another one where it was T-boned by another vehicle, and you can just see the Tesla Cybertruck. Like, I get it. These, sometimes, like I said with the NHTS and IHS, things sound like stainless steel. That'll protect the driver really well. When actually it turns out that these big sheets, these big pieces of panel, just end up denting in and indenting a lot easier than other types. The first, Tesla Cybertruck crash, I believe, reportedly, reportedly, because I didn't get the full story. I read a couple articles about it, but remember, you never know nowadays. And apparently it was like a Tesla engineer driving the Cybertruck who then crashed into a 2010 Toyota Corolla who started drifting into his lane and he didn't notice. And boy, would I rather be in the Corolla. So this may look, like I said, like this one did really well and that one did not so good, but actually the Corolla absorbed the damage and did what it was supposed to do, and the Tesla Cybertruck was like a rock. It just bashed the Corolla to pieces, right? Which isn't good. I truly think that these are not safe for roads. Elon Musk. I'm not even going to talk about Elon Musk. I'm not going to start. And it's not because of his political orientation, right? I just think he has very bad ideas, right? Again, this is stupid. These big, long panels, I mean, imagine having to replace that, how much that's going to cost. Personally, I prefer, like, the Saturn Ion plastic body panels. Like, the only real job of the body panels is to shrug off some rocks on the highway, right? They're not really structural. That's what the frame's for. So making them plastic and easily replaceable makes sense to me. This is, like, my kryptonite when it comes to everything everything that I value in a car. It's just fun. So with that, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Why did I do a video on this Tesla Cybertruck? I don't know.